Van Halen's songwriting success has pushed their last 3 albums to the top of the charts, due largely to their far-from-textbook approach to music making.
It's actually not any kind of rocket science or brain surgery. The majority of the time, Alex and I and Mike get together and we just kind of jam, you know. I have my studio at home, you know, where we've recorded our last 4 records, and we just lock ourselves up and play for like 8, 9 hours and let a cassette roll, and if something comes out of it, we go, hey, let's work on that tomorrow, you know?
I get half my lyrical ideas from listening to a song and getting the lyrics wrong. And then I find out what they really said, and I say, oh, well, then I can use what I thought they said. That's good, you know?
Lyrical inspiration aside, recording the album is only half the battle.
I want to tell people, MTV is the most wonderful thing that ever happened to rock and roll, except it's the hardest work that rock and roll bands have ever had to do. You know, we're used to, at worst, a 2-hour show, right? When you shoot a video, and if it's a performance like that, you're performing for 17 hours. Here we go! They had a 40-foot platform that spun at 12 miles an hour. Now, something that big spinning that fast, when you're on the end of it, it almost threw you off.
My favorite ride's the ride where the floor drops out, you stick to the wall, right? So, well, no problem. So I did it, and I'm just like kind of moshing around the outside, and whoops, I slipped, and I almost like became part of the backdrop scenery.
But performing for cameras isn't the only thing that's thrown them for a loop. For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge is their first album conceived entirely in the recording studio, without the protection of rehearsal time.
The new record, you know, we wrote in the studio, and we did all the basic tracks and then sang to it. And it's like now I'm in rehearsal going, how do I play and sing at the same time? Because in the old days, we'd have all the tunes written, and we'd already performed them live in a club or somewhere before we actually recorded them. This time it's like, I'm going, how do I sing and play this at the same time? It's kind of like, you know, doing one of these things, chewing gum and roller skating at the same time, you know?
Yeah, actually, it's almost a shame that you couldn't record the record after you had been on tour. We felt that way every time you go out on tour, because you don't have to think as much about the song in terms of what you want to play, as opposed to just it flows and you play around with it.
The success of Van Halen through the years is a combination of musicianship, camaraderie, a sense of humor, and a love of rock and roll that just can't be faked.
It really is a heartfelt thing, and if the heart goes out of it, then it's a job. And then you're talking about a performance. And that, to me, is, I don't know, then you're acting. We're no actors. They get paid more.
We just went out and did a show where I walked out and just sang the song and walked off. I get nothing from that.
When I hear us on the radio, I go, you know, I get the goosebumps and the fur goes up, you know? It's like, yeah, you know, it's exactly the same as it used to be.
When I get up there on stage and I got all this stuff blowing behind me, and I'm sitting there riding on that one note, and everything's shaking, and my fillings are getting ready to fall out, I'm going, yeah, I like this.
I've never wanted to be a rock star. I've never wanted to do interviews. I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I'd rather be playing my guitar and making music, you know? It's like, you know, it's like all the stuff that goes along with it, I'd rather do without, you know? If you think riding in a limo and doing interviews and your picture taken when you feel like you know what I mean? And you're sitting in the back of a car going like this with a guy who can't drive and doesn't know where he's going. If you think that's great, go ahead and be a rock star, you know? I'd rather just stay home, make music, you know?